33's versus 31's, or the more accurate measurement, 285/75s versus 265/75s. I've recently upgraded to bigger tyres on my Cruiser, and today I want to talk about what I've noticed and the things that you might like to know before upgrading to bigger tyres. Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. I apologise that it has been a while since I've made a video, but that's just working in a tourist town over summer for you. Anyway, I'm here to talk about these bigger tyres. These BF Goodrich KM3 285/75 tyres on 16-inch rims. And a few things that I've noticed that you might want to consider before upgrading to bigger tyres. So while I could have focused on the tyre changing process, I'm a little bit pressed for time, and I thought it'd be more important to you guys to focus on the things I've noticed since I've had bigger tyres, just in case you were thinking about upgrading yourselves. So the first thing that I want to talk about is that I've gained some more height. Yep, so after gaining 4 inches of lift from my lift kit because my old springs had sagged that much, I've gained another 4 or 5 centimeters from these bigger tires, because we are talking, you know, a lot of people would call that a 33-inch tire and that a 31-inch tire. They look about the same side by side, but you gotta remember that's got some weight on it. Anyway, so this is the old tire, just in case you haven't watched some of my earlier videos. I used to run these Cooper Discoveries, and as you can see, they're getting a little bit worse for wear. So they were 265/75s, and these are 285/75s. So that's the next step up that I'm running now. And yeah, so we've gained a little bit more height out of it. So what does that mean? That it looks bigger, but it's even harder to get into, which I love. Even though I struggle at the moment, it is great. By the way, how rude of me not to introduce you guys to Jack. This is Jack, another one of our working dogs. He's actually Norman's older brother. You wouldn't believe it that they've got the same parents, but they do. So everyone say hi to Jack. Good boy, Jack. You hang there. Hey, you make a good shed dog, actually. Might have you down here more often. So the next couple of things that I want to mention, I thought I'd better go for a drive for. Because the first thing is actually the biggest problem with bigger tires, and that is that you've got a little bit more lag. You're losing a bit more power because the engine has to turn bigger, heavier tires. So obviously you're going to lose just a little bit of your torque down low and power up high. But that's just a given. That is, like I said before, one of the sacrifices with bigger tires. And then while I'm on the topic of bigger, you know, the diameter, your speedo and odometer, shaky footage, your speedo and odometer are now going to be probably about 5% out, which isn't necessarily a negative. It just means you've got to do a little bit more thinking when it comes to driving on the road for your speed and working out your fuel consumption, because obviously your trip meter is going to be 5% out, so you're going to have to add that 5% on to your kilometers traveled before you go and work out the fuel consumption. Let's have a look at what I'm talking about. All right, let's have a look. So we have just over 50 litres. For the simplicity of this video, I'm going to call it 50 litres. All right, so now that we're back in the car, we can look at our trip meter, which is 272. Wait, can I do that? No, I'm gonna have that on. 272.3. So the catch is that we actually have to add 5% to that. Now, I'm not saying that everyone's tires are going to be 5% out. It's the best way to tell is actually to go on the highway, sit on 100, and if you've got a GPS, like a good GPS or a good app of some sort that tells you your speed, that'll soon tell you how many kilometers over and then you are, and then it's pretty easy to work out 5% from that. Okay, so 272.3. Now 10% of that is going to be roughly 27.2. So then 5% of that is going to be about 13 or 14. Let's go with 14. So if we add 14 to 272.3, that puts us at 286.3. So what we got is we got 286 on the clock and we've got 50 litres. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go 50 times 100 and you're gonna get 5,000. I don't know, I'm not exactly sure why that happens. I haven't done much thinking or research into that. This is just the formula I use. You go your fuel times 100 and you've got 5,000. Now you divide that by the amount of kilometers we've traveled, which was 286, wasn't it? Yeah, 286. So what you should end up with is about 17.4 liters per 100. Now this is actually above what I have been getting. And I can confidently say that I've been getting about 16 liters, but obviously I had a slightly heavier foot this time. So that brings me to my next point, which is fuel consumption. Now, fuel consumption is a bit of a funny one with bigger tires, because obviously it's going to take a lot more effort and therefore fuel for the engine to turn these bigger tires over, to get them rolling, to get them started, to accelerate. But when you're on the highway doing your 100k an hour or whatever, your engine is actually running at less revs now. Because the tire has a bigger diameter, it takes less revolutions of the wheel to steady 100k an hour, and therefore the engine isn't actually trying as hard. So there are some people that'll try and tell you you've got better fuel consumption with bigger tires. This might be true if you started once and then did a full tank of fuel to your next stop without stopping kind of thing. You might get some better fuel consumption, but for daily driving, it's going to be a bit more. And that's what I found. So I found that generally my average fuel consumption now is between 16 and 17, as opposed to what was 15 liters per 100 pretty consistently. So yes, my fuel consumption's gone up a little bit, but I'm actually very happy that it's only increased by 1 or 2 liters per 100. I'm actually stoked about that for the bigger mud terrains I have on now compared to the little Coopers all-terrains I had before. So good. Now, while we're talking about the road, would you believe me if I said that the road noise from these tires was pretty much the same as the road noise from these tires? Pretty unbelievable, hey? But it's true. These BF Goodrich KM3s have pretty much exactly the same road noise as the old tires. Yes, it's slightly more noticeable on dirt roads and corrugations that I've got big mud terrain tires on, and they're picking up a few more rocks like new tires do. But the road noise from these is actually, it's fine for daily driving. It's, you know, it's not much different at all. Now let's get off the road talk and talk about these off the tracks. In the sand dunes, I recently took these for a little camping trip and I had them down to about 16 PSI and they were just amazing. I didn't really let them down a lot in the sand. I did have them in the sand a bit, but they, they were prone to getting bogged. They were small tires and at the time I didn't have a lift either, so it was a bit of a disaster. But I feel like this is such a capable machine now with these big tires on. There was just no sinking feeling. You know, I want to stray from tires a little bit. It didn't get hot in the sand much at all. It maybe saw 350 degrees in the soft stuff running the tires at 16 pound, but it was just, yeah, it was really good. So I can't really compare these to anything else because I haven't really taken anything else on a proper four-wheel drive trip, but just this little sand trip in the dunes was really great. These tires were so capable, didn't get bogged once, they didn't even struggle. So I was so happy about that. I would highly suggest upgrading tires, especially if you had a little all-terrain like that that's running out of tread. These BF Goodrich KM3s are definitely the go. I love them. And they're just so capable. Would highly recommend. So there you go, guys. I hope this video was helpful in some way or another to you today. If you haven't checked out my other content, please be sure to do so. I have so much up on YouTube now that you know, I'm really stoked with. Some of it I may have been not quite as knowledgeable as I am now, but it's still part of the process, and we've really watched this Landcruiser grow through my work, and I think it's helped a lot of you guys along the way. So I really appreciate hearing from you, and any questions that you have, any comments, any feedback. I love to take it all on board and, you know, answer it or improve my knowledge myself. We're all learning in this journey. So anyway, please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below. Go follow me on Facebook and Instagram because I like to keep you guys up to date there, more so than I do on YouTube. It's just easier to throw a story up or a post and let you guys know what I'm doing. So be sure to join me in that awesome little community there. I'll catch you guys in the next video.